Hi, we are going to talk about two concepts. The first one is the concept of beauty, and the second one is the concept of gender. So we did some questions to two foreigners from the USA to see the American perspective of this concept. So first of all, we have to know what does beauty and gender means. Those concepts are really complex to define because they are really abstract, especially the concept of beauty because it's really subjective. We could define beauty as the thing that it's ideal to your perception, but genre it's more from the perception of the society. The concept of genre is built by the society and it's more transcendental in the terms of the existence of an individual.
The medicine and the academy say that there are two base forms of genre. First of all, cisgender refers to people who accept the social roles. They don't have any problem with their bodies and with the concept of female or male, the biological concepts. On the other hand, transgender refers to people who break the social rules, changing their bodies, their personalities, their behaviors. Transgender people build other ways to express and to be themselves.
This concept of beauty and gender implies different movements inside the society. In fact, these concepts are really important in the development of the society nowadays. So, for example, we could say that the appearance of a person who is looking for a job is a fundamental or a key to find this job earlier than other people. One time inside the company, this person could rise in his position because their appearance and his identity. So this problem could be shown in the families too, because the children that are more attractive are more loved by their parents. Another situation that appears with this concept is when a person is looking for a couple and their identity could be a trouble because in general the people is angry or sometimes is brave against the different perception of sex and sexual movement inside the society.
We interviewed Chloe Ruder Jensen. She is a professional in studies of genre and she worked as a teacher in a marginalized neighborhood in Oakland, United States. She was a teacher of Los Andes University and she was a coordinator too of the Department of Estudios y Lenguajes y Estudios Culturales.
Hi, my name is Chloe Rudder Jensen, and I teach gender and sexuality studies at the University of Los Andes and in the United States.
The first question that we made to Chloe was, is your gender identity a key factor to having better opportunities in the United States?
And I would say that certainly men get paid still 30% more and they have more opportunities, but it has probably equally as much to do with what your racial formation and class social category are. So it would be hard to compare gender identity across the board, men and women, but we would have to talk about men of color, women of color, white men, and so on, to really be able to gauge the differences in opportunities.
Our second question is, what are the differences between Colombia and United States in terms of opportunities and gender?
Well, I would say that by and large they're probably pretty similar. It's interesting that in Colombia there are more women in science, technology, and math than in the United States, and generally they score better. So they've had a better education in those STEM fields, even if Colombia is still a very patriarchal society.
Are children educated to understand and to accept the diverse kinds of gender that exist in your current context?
So that would be educating children about people who aren't cisgendered men or cisgendered women. We would have to include trans children, trans parents, and other types of people who don't fit the gender norms. And while yes, some parts of the US are very good about training and introducing these subjects as areas of celebration, many parts of the US probably are not. In California, most of the schools cannot send home children who aren't dressed supposedly gender appropriate.
We have an academic point of view. Now, we've decided to go to the street to know a different opinion about this topic.
Our will is to find an ordinary person to identify if there is any difference between academic and common way to see. So, let's go!
Hi guys, we are with
Albert Phelps.
Albert. He's from Chicago, and we are going to an interview about the concept of beauty and gender. Okay, so let's start.
Okay.
Okay, the first question is, what do you think is the standard of beauty in your country?
I would say in general it's more people muscular, thinner, women feminine, men masculine.
Okay, but when we want to talk about the woman.
Okay, the women's beauty.
The women. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I say probably thin, with kind of sculptural body more probably. In talking about standard, general standards, right?
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
I think oftentimes long hair.
Blonde?
No, not
No?
necessarily
No? Ah, okay.
blonde, but we have many people from other black hair, brown hair,
Okay.
different colors of hair. So no particular type of hair. I think depends. Some people like a lot of makeup, but I think other people more natural beauty. I personally like natural beauty more.
Do you agree with that or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Not so much makeup. No.
No?
No.
No.
Okay. And about the gender, do Americans respect, accept, and recognize different kinds of gender?
Meaning men and women, or you meaning like transgender and?
Yeah.
Transgender
Okay.
and more.
It depends on where you are. I say if you're in an urban area where people are exposed to different types of people, and people are probably a bit more open. But if you're in most of the U.S., which is more not city, it's more rural, no, probably it would be seen as strange.
Okay, okay. And you accept that kind of people? Or?
Yes, for me, it's, yeah.
It's okay.
No problem. There's
No?
Okay. Okay.
Do you think this concept of beauty in your country is built by society and mass media, or is built by yourself or by every person?
Well, each person has their own view of beauty, but society certainly affects
Yes.
the views. I think it depends on, once again, how independent a person is, so that they can have their own views, or they feel pressures of society to conform to what other people think.
Yes, it's true.
Okay. If you had to choose between two person to work, you have some problem if a person is transgender, or for example, you have a woman
Uh-huh.
and you have a woman transgender. You have some problem if she is transgender or not?
Personally, I would not. No.
No?
No. I mean, because no, I think it depends on the abilities of the person, their
Okay.
personality, the characteristics, how
It
good they
doesn't
would be.
matter. Okay.
No, for me, no.
Okay.
Okay.
Muy bien.
When you heard this kind of phrase like be a man, boys don't cry, don't like a girl, what do you think about that?
I think it's not realistic. I think it puts people in a box. and the idea that men don't have feelings is not really correct. I mean, and people should, whether man, woman, or whatever, should be able to express their feelings in the way that,
But why do people say that?
because in the past there were certain kind of prejudices about this is how a man acts and this is how a woman acts. A man is strong and doesn't show his emotions, and a woman is feminine. She keeps looking after the house and the husband and the children, so she's able to feel. So it's based in past, I think, more history.
Okay.
A conclusion that we have done about this topic here in Colombia is that if you are beautiful and you will have a good job, a good life, a good future, and some advantages or avoid over other people, beyond other people. Sorry. What do you think? Is the same thing in America? In
Yes,
the United
definitely.
States?
Yes, I mean, I think that certainly physical beauty, whether it be man, woman, or whoever, it gives people advantages that maybe people that are less physically attractive don't have. It's not fair, but yes, I think human nature,
It's the same.
it's the same.
Really
Exactly.
work.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your
Thank you
Okay,
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
to meet you.
Good luck in your project.
Thank you so much.
Hi guys, we are with Jesse. He is from New York and he will ask the answer. Okay?
Okay. The first question is, what do you think is the standard of beauty in your country?
I think that for the standard of beauty for women is to be tall and very skinny, and for men it's to be very muscular, and those are, I think, pretty rigid standards for the genders. Yeah.
Do you agree with that? With that standard?
No, definitely not. I think there can't be one standard. There has to be a wide sort of fan of different forms of beauty, not just one.
Okay, in your concept, do Americans recognize, accept, and respect different kinds of gender, like transgender or other people?
No, definitely not. And our president, you might know, just banned transgender people from the military, which was against the recommendation of the Secretary of Defense. So it's just one example of how this administration doesn't recognize it at all. And I hope that that's not true for the country, but I think it sort of is representative of the whole
Okay,
country.
the people in general.
Sort of agree with that, I think, yeah.
Okay.
Do you think this standard of beauty is built by society and mass media, or it's built by every person by yourself?
I think it's something that is not really the fault of the mass media. I think sometimes mass media just gives people what they want. So I think it's more the fault of society as a whole, and it's just being perpetuated by the mass media. So I blame society before I blame mass media.
Okay, in your particular case, if you have to choose, you have two women. One is a woman and the other is a transgender woman. If you have to choose one of them, you have some problem with the transgender woman, or there is no problem if they have the same abilities, and all that is equals, just that change. Do you have some problem or not?
No, I haven't encountered transgender people in my working life, but I certainly have no problem working with them. No, it should be based on the ability of the person to do the job, not whether a person is transgender or not.
When you hear this kind of phrases, like be a man, boys don't cry, something like that, what do you think about that? Why do people say that?
I think it's because they're very antiquated phrases, and it's, I think, what people are used to from, especially I think in the United States in maybe the 1950s, there was a very particular role for each gender. Women stayed at home and men went to work. So I think that people are just very familiar with that, and that's why they say things like that. And I think it's changing now. There's a very strong movement towards more progressive gender roles in the United States. So I think as new generations are born and older people die, I guess that's going to change.
Okay, a conclusion that we have done about the Colombian case is that if you are beautiful, you will have a good life, a wonderful job, and wonderful future. You think that it is the same case in the United States?
I think so, definitely. I think there studies have been done to show that, yes, and if you watch the news, the women look a certain way, blonde, tall, skinny. But I think something I will say is in the case of women, maybe if you're beautiful, it's harder to get the respect of your male counterparts, especially in a profession like journalism, where people assume if you're beautiful, you got the job because you're beautiful. So I think it does help you get ahead, but there's a flip side to that, which is that people don't respect you as much if you're a beautiful woman and think that you got the work just because of your looks.
Yes, this is the same here.
You're
Thank
very
you so
welcome.
much for your
It's my pleasure.
We talked with three different persons from different places of United States, so we could find different points of view in some topics. For example,
When they talk about if Americans recognize, accept, and respect the different kind of gender, one of them say that depends of the place where are you, and the other say that Americans don't do that. Here Gals giving an example with the election of the president.
Chloe thinks that education is important to accept and respect different kinds of gender.
There was one thing that everyone agreed on. All of them think that beauty gives to people some advantage for a better life.